Hey, we're live. There we go. Got a couple thumbs up already. Thank you very much for thumbs up. This is James Smitty speaking, trainingsites.io. We've got another live stream here on, when is it? Wednesday. Got to turn myself off on the other microphone just so I don't. There we go. Got sound working. That's all I want to know about. Couple. These are live streams that I do with a piece of software called Ecamm Live. Here by myself in my little home office slash studio. Got a couple machines and monitors, and one of the things I always do just to make sure is I have my stream live on another one just to make sure the sound comes out properly. So. If anyone is on today, please make sure to introduce yourself in the chat, and of course, questions and answers. That's what these are all about. I don't have any particular agenda on those. Usually just talk about AI stuff, communities, campuses, creating courses, that kind of package of things. It's the stuff that I'm passionate about, and I'm hoping that is of interest to you. And specifically how all of the things are changing rapidly with all of the AI tool services and stuff that are coming out. There is a dramatic shift happening if you haven't been kind of understanding it and or preparing for it. That's what I'd love to be able to either help you out to the best of my ability and the best of my knowledge. Because if I said at any point that I know exactly what's going on, I'd be lying to you. There's lots of stuff going on and it changes absolutely daily. So again, say hello. Let me know where you're from. Any questions have anything to do with that stuff, please make sure that you put them in the chat early, and I'll address them as best I can. And it's okay to lurk. It's okay to lurk. Hopefully, you'll pick up something as well. And if there are no questions in the short term, one thing that what I will kind of chat about, and it's something that I think is, it's kind of interesting to see what happens. And what that thing is when I go and take a look, like I'm going to pull up my feed, basically my feed on YouTube. And one of the things that happens, of course, is that I follow as many people as I can who are talking about using the right tools or picking the tool for the job that needs to be done. And for me, there's two things that are interesting. One is that there's a shift in the type of people that I'm subscribing to that isn't necessarily about AI, but it's about AI agents, and that shift or transition between prompting and getting some content back to the next thing, which is about having the AI or strings of AI processes put together that remove complete sections of what we'd normally do when we put courses together. So that's a thing that's kind of interesting that I'm running into all of the time. The other thing that's kind of cool here is that there's definitely a move to different or multimodal kinds of tools that are available. So it's not just about a text prompt and a response. It's getting to the point where it's more about how are the different ways that I can import or provide input and output, and get responses back, or at least start or trigger things that actually get done by some of the tools. So again, let me know. Got to have some questions here if you want me to answer them. I could talk about that shift a little bit. The other thing that is interesting, again, to me, is a shift, and I've been talking about this a little while, but it's even becoming more obvious, is that there is a shift now again between having a website and courses towards a community and campuses. And this is really a big shift, I think, in the whole WordPress space and the application space, as there's a kind of a change on the delivery platform that people are involved in or have questions about how to actually get started doing this. So it's not necessarily just about, hey, I have a course to sell. It's like, what is all of the stuff that goes around it and or supports that, which is kind of cool again. So yeah, so we can do that. Again, please put some questions in. I'd love to answer some questions. Let me know who's here. Let me know where you are, and we'll go from there. So what have I got here? Sip of coffee. No questions. What's going on today, man? Usually there's lots of questions, lots of stuff going on. Let me know. I am playing around. I am really trying to get my head around automating a lot of the things that actually need to get done or often getting done with some of these ChatGPT tools, that kind of thing. So, putting together whole packages of creating a course, creating marketing material, and having that basically happen in the background. And the other thing that's kind of there is there is a shift, I think, or that is happening, is a shift of having a human in the loop. And it's more about checking the work of AI as opposed to having to go and manually create it, which is exciting because, that's the whole idea of becoming a boss now, as opposed to becoming the employee that's actually doing the work. And that's where I think there's going to be some interesting things or times that are available to everyone. So, yeah, so no questions at all. Come on, guys, what's going on? What are you working on? What prompts are you using? What kind of courses are you creating? Are you creating more than courses or educational content? What kind of stuff you're running into? What are some of the problems or challenges? Let me know. I'd love to be able to talk about those. And if I don't get any questions, I don't know what I'll do. Usually I do these and there's lots of questions, but if there aren't today, that's fine. I'll pack it in and you can just go check out the trainingsites.io campus. Um, that part, actually, we'll talk about that for a second because that's kind of interesting. One of the things that I do have, and again, if you haven't been here before, it's trainingsites.io/join to be able to join the campus. And this particular campus is from it's a WordPress site, and I'm just going to tell you about this because it's just a good example of how a delivery platform is really replacing, in many cases, a website. Or I think anyway, if you're in the educational space, obviously, if you're selling something else, maybe a service, for example, and or products where you need a shopping cart up front and ready. I think that's a different question, yet it's going to be addressed by these guys. But I think this one kind of platform specifically that's hosted, this is on WordPress. Um, this is the part that is kind of interesting because it doesn't require the traditional WordPress or design or development that you would normally spend a whole bunch of time on, picking a theme and getting everything set up so that the site looks good, and having to really work on all of the web copy and sales material. It's pretty nice to be able to have no need for that because you have a community or a campus. And again, this one is in WordPress. Some of the other ones that you'll see are ones that are kind of doing the same thing, but softwares as a service. And examples of this might be Go High Level, which added Colab, which is a community. There's Circle, which is another one that's community based and some courses based, but that one is just all about basically having a standalone community or campus. And these things don't require traditional websites. There's no fancy landing page for the most part. Maybe a single page can be created by AI now. You don't need any fancy thing as an editor to get that done. But it's like one place for your community, your campus, the people that you're trying to teach. So in mine, and this one, and the only reason I'm mentioning it is these guys are called WP Manage Ninja, and they have a whole suite or stack of plugins that work really, really well with Fluent Community. And the thing that, and let me just check this actually, I'll check it while we're here, just while we're playing along right now, is they do have, might be out today actually, that's what I'm checking. They have, I'm just going to see in the VIP lounge here. No, it's not out. But here's the thing that they've got. What they have is they have Fluent Cart, which is now going to replace Fluent Commerce or WooCommerce. I use WooCommerce right now as the shopping cart. This is the replacement for it, and it's tightly integrated to Fluent Community. And it does all the things that WooCommerce does, but again, it's directly tied to the community. The other one that they have, which is here, which is just in beta that I'm hoping that I can get shortly. It was supposed to be launched on the 4th, but it's behind. This one is Fluent Affiliate, which is a real neat way to be able to grow your community when you can get existing members to either uh, promote your community, and you can do some kind of way rewarding them for that, whether it be monetary or any other products or services that you may offer to have it. So this particular campus that I built has Fluent Community, it has Fluent CRM, it has Fluent Boards for project management, Fluent support for doing support tickets, Fluent Booking for managing appointments like Calendly, Fluent Affiliates is out, and Fluent Cart is out. The only thing that's kind of missing here are Fluent Events. But if all of those are together, is there any particular need for a website? If you have the community and you make it available for free, you promote the community for free. If you happen to have it where it is a paid one, you will need some kind of sales page, obviously, and it's easy enough now to not have to get carried away with creating a fancy site, but you can, basically go and do something like this and have one of the AI tools basically create an HTML page for you. And again, this one was written and put together just with a prompt on Claude. So all the HTML, I just copied it as basically a page HTML, put it on the site, and now I have a landing page for doing that. So this is something interesting, and I think, if you are thinking about, hey, I want to, be selling courses, I want to be creating courses, the delivery of that educational content is getting a lot more simple and consolidated so that you can have a central place for all of it to take advantage of it in your community, but also to make it available for all of the AI tools and agents and things are going to be looking for your content or using your content moving forward. So what do we got? Who's here? Debbie's Weight Loss Revolution. Hey, Debbie, thank you very much for coming on. Um, Debbie's got a question here. Do you think I could make a course about weight loss? I was X number of pounds and I've lost, holy crapple, and 2 new knees. I did a year of physical therapy and no more wheelchair. Congratulations. That's awesome. I can relate to you in some respect because my wife got a brand new titanium knee 2 weeks ago now. So I understand what the physio part is about. And of course, being more mobile, I'm sure is something that you'll be able to enjoy. So here's a question, and I'll ask you this as well. And these are all the things that, kind of come up with courses. And again, this is my personal opinion and the process that I've put together that I've seen repeatedly run successfully. And here's kind of the gist at it when I look at it. My suggestion right off the bat is to think about more than a course. So, initially when I started, when everyone else started, it was about, hey, how can I have, or I want to create a course to, excuse me, have passive income or be able to sell my course for X number of dollars and be able to make sure I get my message out. I think that is very, very difficult and will get even more difficult as people, especially in health, wealth, and relationships. Those are kind of the big three for the educational space. It's very competitive now, and it's even going to get more competitive unless you have one thing that they don't, which is a personal story that you can share, which I think allows you to really differentiate what it is that you do that's special or different from other people. And I think it comes across obviously more authentic when you've done it yourself. So, having said that, yes, you can make a course, and I think you got a great story for a course there. We can go through that a little bit, but I would suggest that you think a little bigger about having an education business as about selling a single course. Now, here's the other question that I have for you. And again, if you want to answer it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Do you have an existing business and or services before creating the course? Are you teaching it live anywhere? Is it something that you've already developed, or is it something that you're thinking of developing because you don't have a digital version of that? I think there still is a very good market for courses with a single caveat. The people that do well with courses now are the people that have an existing community or group of people that they can basically extend or monetize by bringing them into another format or delivery method, but they're already customers. So you can do well with that if you have a captive audience already that you've somewhat monetized. If you don't have that, that's a completely different story to go out in that really competitive health, wealth, and happiness place and try and market it amongst all the other noise and things that are there. So that's kind of one of the things that I would start as well. Now here's the other one, just to make sure that you've done. And again, I don't know, Debbie, how long you've been on the site, but I want to make sure that you do take the time. And everyone, if you're watching this, please do this part. It's my bread and butter, and it's something that you're going to have to do if you are going to sell a course or create an education business. And again, this is free to you, but I have a 10-step campus map that's here on the left-hand side. And this is, I have it as a course because it's a process that is organized into 10 steps. But the real part to this is this first kind of 4 steps, which is all about, you know, discovering the perfect topic or campus topic and theme, the goals for your education business, and having a profitable product. The other part that's here and what I talk about is making sure that you have a unique framework that you can hang your hat on. So if you've put together some kind of package or things that you've done before, or you have a certain way of teaching things, making sure that you have that documented is a good one. So thinking of developing, been working on my on my YouTube channel. Perfect, perfect. And again, these 10 steps, go through the 10 steps that you do. Doing this part here about creating a topical authority map. And I've actually updated this to a topical, I have also a topical opportunity map. But making sure that you have a really good big picture of your topic and how you're going to approach it. So thinking of developing, been working on building my YouTube channel. If you have the YouTube channel and you want to share it, that's fine too. We can do that. I'm personally of the firm belief that the only way that you, not the only way, the primary way that I am working or looking at YouTube is that is my bread and butter for all of the marketing that I do. It is technically the only marketing I do. I don't spend any ads or anything like that. Um, I don't post on social media unless it's automated by some of the stuff I've done on YouTube. Uh, Partly because I'm not overly great at social media and I don't like spending money on ads. I'm not an expert on AdSense and I don't want to be an expert on AdSense. And also because I'm not selling a particular course or product, I'm selling my community. And again, that's one of the reasons I was kind of talking about it. So if you have a YouTube channel, what's the purpose of the YouTube channel? Is it to get some leads? Is there something that you're selling specifically on the YouTube calls? Is it to basically build out your authority? Are you using the content from YouTube? Are you repurposing it? Is it content that can go into your campus? Is it content that can be created or the transcripts be used elsewhere? If you do have, I'm going to put one link here. This is really important. If you're doing YouTube, it's one that I've just started to use. I talked about it in a video, I think, yesterday, and I'll show you that video, just the one that I did, so you can see it. I'm just going to go to my channel here for a second because I don't remember the actual video name of it. This one here. Yeah, this one right here in the middle. So it's nobody told me Claude could fix these. Single prompt, and this one here is about taking transcripts from YouTube and repurposing them. So this video, if you want to go watch that one, I'll try and put the link below. This one was done yesterday, and then the service that I use for that is this one right here, and this is called YouTube-transcript.io. So if you haven't, haven't done that before, it's a free account. They do have a paid one, and I think the real difference here is just the amount of time that actually you have access to it. So 3-day history retention. Maybe I have this one. I'm going to open it up. All you do with this one is you take the URL of the video, and this was last week's live stream. I went 90 minutes on this one. So it was 99 minutes, 32 seconds is how long I talked for. I basically put the URL in, and when I put the URL in, I got a complete transcript of my YouTube video. So if you have a YouTube channel, now you have the YouTube transcript that is available from the talk that you've done. And with that particular transcript, there's a number of things that you can do. If you just look above my head here, key quotes, study guide, Q&A, quizzes, highlights, flashcards. So there's just an example of what can be done there. What I do specifically is I take this transcript and I use ChatGPT or Claude, usually Claude, and I end up creating a document that I can use in a whole bunch of other ways. And the one, again, I showed this in the video in depth, but I'll do just so you can see it, what I actually did with this one. Yeah. So this is actually I took the transcript and I ran a prompt, and basically I got a complete 8-page document that has and takes away all of the key elements, but also it lays out the process that I talked about, or the key areas that I talked about during the live stream, and it's put it into a working document that I can now use. So if you are doing YouTube videos on a regular basis and you do have transcripts, you can do all sorts of stuff with those transcripts, whether it be creating documents or ebooks or social media posts, adding tutorials in your community. Just repurpose that one. So story, yeah, TikTok for 4 years. Actually, and TikTok, I don't do any TikTok. So if you have some feedback on that, that would be good to hear about. You can also use this if you have the videos to use tools like Opus.pro, which I think is a link, and it'll automatically cut it up. There's a number of different tools you can use to do that as well, which is probably a good idea on TikTok if you can continue to do it in an automated fashion, and also YouTube Shorts. But if you're willing to monetize and you want to monetize, you got to spend some time. Again, this is my personal kind of thing here, is making sure, I'll pull this up so that you can see it. That big piece here is just making sure that we have uh, you've got the topic, but you have to have some goals for the education business. And what that means is, what's your personal goal, and then what's the business goal? Is it just to earn some extra money? Is it something you want to be able to supplement a business? Is it something that you want as a standalone product? Because depending on what you do, that the rest of the stuff that you create has to support the educational goals for the business and also the financial goals for yourself. So if you're just trying to figure that part out, there's a couple of steps to actually go through there, but it's really a decision you have to make earlier rather than later if you want to monetize it. And then the other thing, Debbie, just to kind of touch on this one, is that if you're going to monetize it and you are going to be selling the course, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes up, because if you're going to a cold market where no one knows about you, you're not an authority in the market, got a really cool story, but you don't have all of the preamble that new people are required to go through, that sales process or traditional process of being able to know, like, and trust you. You've got to have some ways to be able to do that. And traditionally, it's been things like doing free webinars or creating ebooks or creating mini courses, or all of these kind of traditional digital marketing ways, and then earning the opportunity to be able to go and sell them or upgrade them to a particular course. And then you got to kind of decide, if I'm going to do a course, is it going to be a big, long course? Am I going to do a whole bunch of little mini courses and kind of go through that space? So I hope this is good news, not bad news for you. But I just suggest that you kind of go through that course if you haven't in the process, and then just think about, what is it that I need to get across in my framework, and what's the best way to deliver that? Is it in a course, or how to make sure that I can get my message across? And again, I think probably in your space with your story, it's probably a really great idea to be able to be the face of what you do, so that people get to know, like, and trust you and go, holy mackerel, if she can do it, I can do it too. And she's got a way of having this great result or transformation, and she wants to share it with me. So um, here's a couple questions for you. And again, if there's more, sometimes is there any more? Debbie, you're the only one asking questions, which is cool. I get it. Let me just make sure. I'm just going to check here on the other side to make sure that there's not more on. Yeah. So here's the other thing, and just give me a thumbs up on this. Have you used AI to do any of the course creation stuff or brainstorming or any ideas like that? Like, do you have already an idea for a course? Do you know if people want the course or the way that you've put it together? Um, one of the things that I highly recommend is, really brainstorming up front, so that you know what questions you should be asking AI, and then figuring out, how to do it. So if you haven't done that, and I can show you some links if you have, give me a thumbs up and let me know if you've got an AI account and you've actually been playing around with it, and doing that. So yeah, and what happened on hello, is that recreated designs? Hey, welcome to the live stream. Uh, haven't I don't think you've been on before. Welcome, and if you haven't joined trainingsites.io, please do that. There we go. Thank you so much. Helpful. Love watching you. Thank you, Debbie. Again, this is all stuff. And again, if you have questions about this and you wanna noodle it and think about stuff and go on there, please go to trainingsites.io, and I've got the general discussion here. And I'm here to answer all of these questions. So if you do have questions about should I create a course or should I not create a course, or I'm trying to create a course, I'm having trouble, or what tools and services should I use, just go put the questions in there and I'll do my best to answer them. And other members can answer them too. So it's not just me. It's a chance to kind of put together and build an education business. I think, for someone who is my age at this point, got lots of experience, lots of stuff that I've done that I either did well or failed at miserably. And being able to have to share that is one of the huge advantages that I think that we have, along for the passion is something that, that you may want to do. So if you have questions on those ones, please, please, please put them in there as well, especially if you haven't joined before. And I will show you this right now just because we're here. On the left-hand side, you see that there's a prompt library. I do have a ton of prompts on course-related ones. And if you click it, it'll come up with, I actually have a thing called a teach prompt framework, which is a way to think about prompting when you're creating educational content. And in there too, there is, and again, this is zoomed up so that you can see it. I have a gear prompt template library, and that's basically the technical structure of how to create them and do that as well. And the other ones that's there, I have a whole set of prompts on course creation that you're welcome to go and play around with. All sorts of great stuff that's there too. So hopefully that will be able to help you. And again, ask questions. I'm here other than on the call as well. Okay, so what else do we have? First time here, perfect. What kind of designs are you doing? Is it interior design? Are you doing any particular design? Is it home related? Is it business related? Is it graphic designs? What kind of stuff? I'd love to find out and see what you're up to. And again, if anyone has ideas for courses, one of the things, Debbie, that I think you're doing that's really great, and this is one of the reasons that I recommend YouTube, is because when you start prompting on YouTube or publishing to YouTube and even TikTok, you might have noticed this, is that you can start or think that people want to hear about or are interested in something, and you start publishing on YouTube, and you may find that as you kind of publish more, people gravitate towards a particular set of questions or answers that you're able to give. And it allows you to really understand the questions and the type of course content that you should be publishing, because it's the content that your clients or community want you to answer, as opposed to the ones that you think you should be answering. And I've said this 1,000 times before, is that most people that create their course, especially their first course, make the course for themselves. when you should really try to be making the course for the people who are going to pay for it based on their questions and the way that they want it delivered and the information that they need to be able to do what it is that you're doing, but based on your framework. So again, if it's your first course, please take the time to kind of go through those pieces and have a real setup. And actually, you reminded me something, Debbie, right here. If you have a YouTube channel, um, if you can, just put how many videos that you have, because I have a little trick from YouTube to create your first video without having to really create a video. Do you want me to show you that one? I'll do that if you want. And I have some clients and customers that have done that quite successfully. Let me just do these ones here. Yeah. So what I'm doing in the background here is I'm just going to go to some of the workflows that I have in the community. And one of the ones, let me minimize it again. So we got 3. And I'll do this. So I'm on the left-hand side and we can see all the tutorials. There is one here, and this one's kind of neat. These are other courses that I'm the administrator, so you guys see these ones in. But here's the one. There it is. There's one right here called Turn YouTube Videos into Courses. And this one might be of interest to you, Debbie, because it goes through a simple way to take your existing YouTube videos and turn them into courses. So that if you have 10 YouTube videos, 15 YouTube videos, here's a real simple way to be able to actually do it and actually see what happens. Now, forget which one that we had here. Yeah. I had one actually. I had one of the customers that have done this. I actually had a video her that did it, and she basically took her top 3 videos that were complementary to each other, and she makes mini courses out of the YouTube video. She doesn't go and create content, but she uses existing content that she already has, which is probably a good way of doing it. So, an apparel decor name. Okay, so here we go. First time here. I'm currently into the AI space. I create GPTs and social media content with AI. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, absolutely. Good idea. Um, that's very helpful. Of course, please share. There we go. Okay. So, Debbie, I think that's okay. Again, if you have questions about those or have not sure about where to go on them, just put the question in the study hall there, and I'll do my best to answer it. So, um, apparel decor. So is that if that's I'm assuming apparel means what you're wearing apparel. Currently into the AI space, create GPTs. And what kind of GPTs are you wearing? Are they ones that you're selling or monetizing? Is it stuff that you're making, which is kind of an agent that will guide people through particular choices of apparel because of, sex or body type or age or anything like that, or purpose of the apparel? If you've created some GPTs, that would be kind of neat. And also if you're monetizing them and how to monetize them, which is another kind of story that's coming up. So yeah, actually, there's one here. And again, if you want to share one of them, if you do have a public one that's a link, that would be great to share it. One of the ones, the first ones that I did, and this is why I asked about what kind of design that you're doing. And let me just pull this one up here. I'm going to open my ChatGPT account, or one of them, so we can see this one here. Let me do a new one because I have a couple as well that I use. I'm going to search my GPTs here and failed to load. Let's try that again. So I'm opening up some of my GPTs, load subscription, failed to fetch. I'm going to go to my GPTs here, and yeah. So these are some of the ones that I've created. The very, very first one that I created was, load more. The very first one is my wife was she's somewhat retired now, but she did home staging or interior design. And one of the ones that she always got questioned about is how do I pick the right wall color? So she actually, I put this together just as a kind of a practice one to play with. And basically it asks a series of questions and then allows the person to have a palette or grouping of colors that would support the purpose of the color pick and what else was going on. So if you have something like that, give me a thumbs up and let me know if that's the kind of stuff you're doing. But there's an example of how you can take a process that you have and be able to turn it into a tool like a chat and be able to monetize that. T-shirts and custom items. Uh, we'll be selling GPTs, but I do have a free one based on government contracting, not public yet. So T-shirts and custom items. Okay. So if are you creating? Are you selling the T-shirts and custom items, or do you have a GPT that allows people to create and create their own T-shirt designs, which is another kind of way of doing it. And one of the things I always ask people with GPTs is how they're actually going to sell them, because there's two ways that I've seen people selling them. And one of the ways is to deliver or keep the link to them as a private link, and then protect the private link, because if you are selling custom GPTs, the way that they work is that someone has to have ChatGPT to use your custom GPT. And they basically, if they have the link, they're able to click it and actually interface with your custom GPT. So sometimes you do that, and they actually do it by selling stuff. So for example, on mine, I have a couple for sale here, right here. Let me just open this one up. So I just went to shop in the upper right-hand corner of my site. This is WooCommerce, and I have custom GPTs here. I have 4. And I have one on how to build advanced GPTs. I have one for YouTube for picking and rating titles. And then I have a couple that are free. So on these ones, I basically have private custom GPTs. And then what I do is people can buy access to the link, and I monetize it by doing access to the link. That's one way of doing it. There is another way to monetize custom GPTs that I'm aware of, and for the life of me, I don't remember the URL. Um, let's see if it comes up here, because there is one. Just trying to remember to it. There is a directory where you can actually go and sell. So people sell custom GPTs, and I can't remember the one that's there. But there is a service basically that allows you, I'll try and find it later, but there's basically a site where you go make your custom GPTs available, in a big Amazon of custom GPTs, and I think they take a bit of revenue for the sale. But there's some people there that have 10, 20 GPTs that they put up. They basically sell them as quickly as they can and put them up. Some sell, some don't, but it's just a way to kind of think about how am I going to additionally monetize some of the other pieces of my business. Now, if you are creating custom GPTs, the other one just to be aware of, and I don't know what they're going to do with it yet, but if you go to, and again, this is another one, if you go to gemini.google.app, and if you look on the left-hand side, where is it? There we are, gems. They do have kind of like a custom GPT that works the same, but it works only in Gemini. The thing that is cool about this is it does have access to all your personal data, like your calendar and your docs and your drive and stuff. So this one works a little bit better internally if you're doing it as a business. I would think that they're probably going to end up selling this at some point. So on the left-hand side in your Gemini account, you can see there's Explore Gems, and there's a whole bunch that are here to kind of play around with, which are neat. So um, I've not done a GPT for the t-shirts, but this is a good idea. I would sell them to people who craft or want to sell t-shirts with these. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that site is known as Etsy for GPTs. Exactly, that's what it was. So yeah, that was, I was just kind of ranting there because I was just thinking, how can you sell stuff along there? And you can, you say, hey, you want to start a t-shirt business? Here's a custom GPT that will help you basically follow my process on how to come up with good ideas, whether they be graphics and or text or slogans or sayings that, that people might be able to use to do that. And again, the part that's different is they can probably do that themselves on ChatGPT if they know the prompts to use. But if you bake in your process or your ideas or your steps into a custom GPT that simplifies everything for them, you're able to actually monetize that, which is kind of cool. So yeah, if I remember that one for the Etsy of GPTs, I will. And they had thousands, I think, last time I checked. It was a couple months ago when I ran into it, which was kind of neat. Yeah, let me know. More questions. What's going on? Who's got some more questions? Stuff about AI, things that are happening in that space. Any tools that you're wondering about? Delivery platforms, ideas for more custom GPT stuff. Um, there. So what else do we have here? Look, a lot of other questions. Try and go through. Did I miss any through here? Um, yeah, Debbie, I'd be interesting to see what happens with yours. So please keep us updated if you're comfortable with that. Let us know what's happening. And okay, the one thing I will show you too, and we'll go back just to my site for a second because it's something that I'm trying either successfully or unsuccessfully. There's another chat. We'll just do that. There's so many people that do not know what a GPT is, and how to educate people would be very helpful. Yeah. Actually, let me do that first because I think that's an interesting story. Um, here's the other thing that I've seen, which lets me know that GPT or Chat GPT is becoming a little more mainstream. When I first started out doing this, I thought that everyone knew about AI and custom GPTs and stuff and prompting, and it was just like a tiny, tiny, minuscule amount of people. And it's like you're always stuck in your own bubble, right? But in terms of being adopted and people actually making a prompt or learning how to do a prompt, um, I don't know what the stats are now. Um, why don't we just look that up actually while I'm here? And again, one of the tools that I use is Perplexity for kind of ones that are uh, good. What I'm just going to say, I'm just going to ask right now. I'm going to do a screen here just so that you can see it. So this is Perplexity. I'm just going to ask. Just basically going to ask, what are the current stats for ChatGPT use, averages, that kind of thing? Because in as much as I thought that everyone knew about it, there's a very, very small percentage of people that actually know about it. And then let's see what we got here. I'll just open this up so that we can see it. Uh, June 2025, approximately 475 unique users per month. And Copilot there, weekly use 400 million, website traffic, market share 60% for ChatGPT. User demographics, so half under age 25, 15 to 16% of users are from the United States, other top countries, 8% per quarter. People are using it for general research, just like Google, academic research, coding, writing emails, commercial research. Copywriting is only 5%, and other. So here's the thing. If you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to create a product or I'm going to be using AI or ChatGPT, there's only a small percentage of people that actually use it, other than the fact that they're kids. And even if they do, they're using it to replace Google, which is another whole issue in itself. So yeah, we found that so many people. Yeah, and you know what? I think the cool thing is ChatGPT, sometimes people think ChatGPT is AI. There's lots of other tools that are large language model tools that do the exact same thing or more than ChatGPT. So those were the stats for ChatGPT. The people coming into the market think that that is AI. So there's still a lot of education that needs to happen and go on. And one of the things I was just mentioning at the start, and the reason, Kai, this is interesting to me, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but if I go on YouTube, I see stuff that's AI related from other people that are in the space. What's happening now on Facebook for me, because I'm old and I still use Facebook, but I'm seeing more and more people promoting AI products and or services on Facebook. So for the people who were traditional course sellers and digital marketers, they're now transitioning from, here's my cool book on something, to here's how to use AI. So it's kind of going up the food chain from the technical people to the digital marketing people. So I think we're going to see a whole bunch of that. And what that tells me is that if there's enough people doing that, there's enough people now that are have the AI mindset or are interested enough to start spending some money on it. So yeah. So here's another one. Debbie's talking about my YouTube coach says I need to sell motivational t-shirts. I tried to do a Shopify store, but it was just too hard to figure out. I'm not tech savvy enough yet. Okay, so and here's kind of the should I even go into this? I'm just wondering. Um, if you're selling a product or service, it's one thing. If you're selling or the focus of your business is on educational content, there's two different ways to approach it. So let me give you an example. I'm going to see if I can get my video pencil working here for a second. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So here's kind of the thing that the way that this works here. So I'm going to see if I can get my. So this is actually I've got I'm going to put a camera source in here. Just one sec. There we go. Okay. So what I've got here is I've got my iPad, and basically I got a little piece of software called Video Pencil. And what happens is when I write on the iPad, it actually shows up on the screen. So here's a good question for you. Here we have someone who says, I've got a YouTube channel. I've got a YouTube channel that's here, and I'm just wondering what the purpose of the YouTube channel is. And in many cases, it depends on what it is that you're going to monetize and how it is that you're going to monetize. Because if you are doing the YouTube channel, if the purpose is to sell the t-shirts, the type of channel, the quality of the content, and the purpose of the content is fundamentally different if you're going to sell educational courses. So, I think you either have to have two channels or understand which one has the purpose or which one is the way to monetize what it is that you're actually doing. And if you're there and you're going, okay, great, I have my story, my weight loss story. Just make sure I got the right pen there. My weight loss story, you have to kind of decide which one am I going to monetize it, or is it part of monetizing the same story? Um, so this one's an interesting one. This is what I was talking about before. Really making sure that you've got a handle on. Let me go back. Sorry. That's when you got to really understand what is it my business goal, and what is the minimum viable product or the product or service that I'm selling that supports what my personal goals are and what my business goals on. So I think, kind of decide, is the purpose to sell courses and course content, or is the purpose to sell t-shirts? And then the other issue that comes up here is that if you're going to do, I'll just erase this here for a second. If you are going to do t-shirts, you have to have some way for them to be bought. And if that isn't Shopify or some other shopping cart, you're going to have to come up with one, or at least understand how one of them work to actually do it. And the other thing is if you're going to do courses and you're not technical, then you have to give some way to deliver the courses and have that so that people can buy them. And that's when you end up having to look at a software as a service or WordPress. So these are all kind of choices that you have to make, and it goes back to that campus blueprint on some of the pieces there. When you say Shopify was too hard, was there just you didn't feel comfortable using it, and or just was kind of stuck out? Um, Yeah, and actually a landing page that allows you to place physical items and place your offer on a Pinterest or social media platform as a lead magnet to your offer. Yeah, and that's the other thing here. If you're, if you're selling courses now, and that's actually a really good point. So if you're selling courses, I recommend that you basically sell the community and then you monetize. So you basically want to say, hey, here's my community. What I want you to do is I want you to be part of my community, and I'm going to give a portion of my knowledge and experience and expertise, and I'm going to pay you, or you're going to pay me your email address for access to my community. Then you can start monetizing people with courses and or with t-shirts, for example. There's 12 different ways that I've identified within a community to monetize them, 12 common ways. Having sales of physical products is one of the ways to do it in a community. And you can do that in a community because they're your captive audience. If you're going to be doing a purchase of a t-shirt, then yeah, you're going to have some kind of landing page, or what some people call is a lead magnet. You might have a low ticket offer. So landing page, something that you can offer people in exchange for their email address, and then maybe sell something at a low end, and then sort of have that, traditional funnel that people look at. I look at the community, and I look at it this way, where people go up, and if you're selling a product, people go down. So you funnel people from a low ticket offer to something where they're going to spend money on you. And generally, you either have at the top of that, you got to have your YouTube uh, getting people into your funnel. But yeah, you're going to have to give something away and or sell something that's a low ticket one to be able to do that. And that changes the kind of information that you're putting into your YouTube channel. On the other hand, if you're building a community, you use that audience from YouTube, and what you're doing is you get them to join your community and you monetize them as they become um, more, they know, like, and trust you better, and you've earned the right for them to spend some money with you. So yeah, those are all things you got to kind of decide. And if you haven't picked a business model yet and had an idea of what it is that you want to actually provide and help people with, it can be really difficult going and doing ads or spending money on stuff if it doesn't fit the whole picture. So again, these are all things to kind of consider. Unfortunately, there's no great answer or easy answer unless you know what it is that you want to do, who you want to do it for, and how you want to deliver what that is. Um, and if my suggestion again, ask your YouTube coach if you are going to be focusing on t-shirts and you are going to be trying to sell a course, you're either going to have two channels and or two playlists, or separate kind of things where you can keep that separate, or get really good at making sure that you can tell your story and give people the option of getting a t-shirt and or doing selling some course or some community. And again, if you're monetized, that's a whole other issue as well on YouTube, because you can sell your t-shirts and merch at the bottom of the YouTube channel. Not really sure where that goes. And social media, of course, as well. It's like getting people into the website, into the funnel, right? So even if you do have social media posts, where are you going to send them? Are you going to send them to a lead magnet to get their email address so that you can market to them in the future? Are you sending them directly to a shopping cart to say, hey, buy my t-shirt? Stuff that you got to kind of think through there. And t-shirts are an interesting thing. Like I've had some in the past. I didn't do well with them. I didn't focus on them, but especially in the weight loss and health, wealth, relationships ones, I think there's a lot of opportunities for coming up with some creative ideas for slogans and t-shirts, or be able to get stuff that would be pertinent to what your particular story is and what you're working for. So hopefully that helps. Again, if you haven't already and you're here for the first time, please make sure to go to trainingsites.io/join. That's my personally branded campus, that whole education space that has everything there for you to start, build, and grow yours. So that's my kind of look at these business models, again, it has nothing to do with the way I do it. It has to be on the way that you do it, what you want to have as a personal financial goal, a business goal, an educational goal, and then picking the platform and the way to be able to monetize it that supports what it is that that product works. So what else we got there? Any more questions? Who else is doing some neat stuff? AI stuff, platforms, tools, questions. Just love to chat about them. Again, these sessions are for you. Anything that comes up, I would love to basically help you out and do that. Um, and if no one has any questions, I will talk about one thing just because I like it. Um, Debbie just asked before we go here. Shopify, I couldn't figure out how to set it up. I've been studying editing, filming, bidding, YouTube channels. I've just built my first landing page, very simple one. I'm learning on school. Okay, so here's another thing. You didn't mention that. Let's talk about that. You have, and that, thank you for doing that, because um, if you have a school account, and if you're not familiar with school, it is a open community software as a service. So what that means is that you can go and open a school account, which is a small form, a semi-community with the ability to have people enroll in your school, and you have the ability to sell or give away uh, your course material within that platform, so within their software as a service. And it's just a big directory of particular. I'll open this one up because I have a free account there just to do it, but I'll show it to you just so if you're watching this after. And there's some people that I subscribe to here as well. Some of the other people that are there. Let me just go to my school. Oh, let me just see. I got this one here. Okay, so I'm going to log in at mine. And you can see that I have, I'm going to switch some of the different ones. I've got a couple that I'm part of. And if I have one, I think I have my own. No, I don't have one created. So this is basically one where you've got a situation where you can have a basic kind of community, and they do have the classroom, they do have the ability to have courses where you sell courses. So here's one, Debbie, where you're talking about, I have a school community and I want to sell t-shirts, or I can sell t-shirts, and I also have a YouTube channel. So I think that's kind of what you're doing. So you got a landing page, YouTube channel, very simple. I'm learning on school. Okay, learning on school. Okay, sorry, I misread that. If you have a school account, that's an example of how you can use YouTube to get people into a school where you have their email address, and then you can start marketing to them. So that's just an example of one kind of thing. Here's what I'm going to say about making videos. Um, again, this is my personal belief, and again, it's one you have to kind of think through on yourself. If you are going to be selling t-shirts and selling your story, I would personally, I would hope that you would either get comfortable enough, or at least work to get comfortable enough on being on camera, whether it's just yourself or if you're talking to someone else or interviewing other people who have either followed you or used your system or have complementary ideas that work with that. I think there's a huge amount of value in that. If you're creating videos and or doing edits on your own, again, this is my personal belief. You have to be comfortable with it and think how it applies to your business and the expectations of the people that you're helping. What I'm talking about is when I first started making videos, I tried to learn a whole bunch of software and do fancy cuts and transitions and all sorts of wild stuff like that. Again, not overly creative in that respect. However, what I have found that works best is if that you work towards live edits. And what that means are using tools like I'm using right now that allow me to basically switch between different pieces as I need to fix or move through them when I'm doing it. So I don't need any editing software when I do these. Sometimes I make mistakes, sometimes on the wrong page, but the whole idea of editing gets removed on this. There's a couple things that happen with that that I think are valuable if you have a personal story. One is that people see that you're a real person, not necessarily an avatar, and it allows you to be a little bit more flexible, warts and all, about what some of the stuff that you're sharing. But that's the expectations of the people viewing is, right? If you are doing stuff for corporate customers, they may have a set expectation of a video that you have to look a certain way and the video has to look a certain way. So one of the things I might say to start off is if you're just getting into video, this is the one that I would make sure that you go and double check. And let me just do this one here. I'm going to go back to the community and I'm just going to go to a link here just so that you have it because I think that it's here. I have on the left-hand side, I do have some of the resources that I use on the trainingsites.io campus. And one of the ones that I highly recommend for doing any of this stuff is, I think I have it here. You know what? I don't have it here anymore. So let's open it up. If you don't have a StreamYard account, this is the place that I highly recommend, and I'll put the affiliate link below, but this is one that I highly recommend that you go and get an account at StreamYard and basically be able to play around with it. Now, the reason that I say that is that you can basically have on your browser, you can have your webcam on your camera, a slide deck, other people to interview, but it allows you to do things like live edits between your screen, between the slides. And if you want to do something with someone to interview someone, you can actually have that happen on StreamYard and you can save it. So if you want to do something on StreamYard that doesn't require any editing and it is X minutes long, you can do it, save it, and then upload it to YouTube, where you have the opportunity to start building your audience because they get to know and like you. So if you haven't already, I recommend that you do that. Just play around with it and, spend a Saturday afternoon or an evening sometime and just make a whole bunch of videos and talk to the camera about the stuff that you're doing and maybe the stuff that you've covered in your topical authority map, which is one of the other things that I talk about at trainingsites.io. And basically, just get comfortable sharing your story and stuff with people. So that's kind of a cool one to do. And again, if you have that and you get a little bit of comfortable, you're putting YouTube stuff up. I highly recommend that you do a couple things. One of them is don't be afraid to say, go to my landing page and give me your email address in exchange for something. So if you're going to do YouTube, just don't say like and subscribe to my channel. Try and weave in the whole idea that, hey, if you're interested in this, or if this is something you would like to learn more about, please sign up for free in my free campus or my free community, trainingsites.io/join. And if someone does that on my site, what happens is they go to a landing page. And it's the only landing page that I have. And in fact, it is the home page now. I don't use a traditional homepage. I basically just use, here's my landing page. So that's the homepage now on trainingsites.io. It's basically the opportunity to join the community. If you are doing YouTube videos, you're going to have that landing page. Just make sure that anything that you're doing on YouTube directs people directly into the landing page. And the couple tips that I picked out from my YouTube coach, which is just watching a lot of YouTubes, is every time that you do these is please make sure, and I'll open this one up again. You can see what I was just reading in there.
So you're already using ChatGPT, and
so here's one here. If you look, what I do on all of these ones is I always have at the top of the fold, I have the trainingsites.io join. So anytime someone's just looking at the video, there's an opportunity to join the community. And that can be to go to your landing page to get a free something, just put it at the top. The other thing that happens is if you go look at my videos and you're looking at the promos, or you're not looking at it, you'll see that it'll say that part about just at the top. I'm just trying to get one that's opened, or let me do this one. I won't be able to open it. When you go to see it, you'll see that trainingsites.io is available always there. Because there's a lot of people that won't see them, they don't care to see them, they don't want to watch them. If you can get them to join the community or at least click, that's a huge opportunity to being able to do that. Call to action, exactly. Call to actions are important and a lifeline for your offer. And that's one of the things that I found. And again, this is my personal this is what I've experienced. If you are going to build an education business and or a t-shirt business, I would find one specific call to action or landing page purpose or something that you're giving away, and everything that you do for marketing is directed towards that. I get a lot of people, that sell something, whether it be a membership or a product or an ebook, but they say, hey, go to my website. And they might have a pop up there. My recommendation is that everything that you do, everyone that you talk to, the purpose of it is you want to get them to go to opt into something. Because once they do, you have their email address, and I'm assuming that you have some kind of email marketing automation software to be able to collect these and start to do automated follow-ups with that. The way that I do it personally is, again, I have in the trainingsites.io campus, I'll show you this one just in the background so that you have it, is I do have, let me just do, on the left-hand side here, I do have Fluent CRM. And again, Fluent CRM, just the contacts and stuff that are going out. All of the tags, 4,300 contacts in the community now, 195,000 emails sent. But these are all emails that have been captured by people getting into the community. And we also have automation so that stuff goes out and happens automatically based on stuff that they do in the community. And you can set these up based on whatever they downloaded and whatever they didn't download or wherever they came from, for example. So, these are things all part of the pieces, these moving pieces that are involved in having some kind of online business or digital business. And again, that the cool thing is why I'm kind of hyped on this whole classroom or campus bit with Fluent Community is that it does have a CRM and automation and all of those additional pieces in one place. And they're all attached specifically to an email address and the person that has opted into something. So anytime I can get someone in a community to do that lead page, I have their email address, they're in the email marketing automation. Everything about them is in one spot, and I have access and control to those ones. So um, lifeline to the offer. Yeah, and you want to know what you're offering, which is unfortunate um, that you have to, but that's the way that it works. And I will say one other thing that's kind of interesting on this, and this is one of the reasons that I like doing so many YouTube videos, is that the things that I thought were important and the things that I spent time talking about at YouTube at the start were not necessarily presented and or organized in a way that helped the people that are my customers or the people that could most benefit from what it is I'm able to help people with. And when you do a lot of YouTube videos, especially rough ones, and that's why it's okay to waste some of them at the start. People aren't going to see them after and they don't really care. But if you can get some out there, you can identify different pieces or different things about your story that people really resonate with, or they can see how it affects them, or they feel good actually watching you. And the benefit to that is once you can get honed in on that, it allows everything that you do, everything that you sell, all of the things that your business is about are all in support of that messaging and that call to action. So yeah, if you can get a hold of those, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to do. And I think it's really exciting because if you're able to get clear on that yourself, it opens up everything for all of the ideas that can come your way about creating videos and about being able to help people. If you have some kind of personal story and you've found a hook or a way to explain that people like it, it's an absolute blast and there's a huge opportunity. And it doesn't matter what it is, if you're selling t-shirts or um, whatever that thing is, there is a market for it and it's absolutely huge. So what else we got for questions before I bring this in for landing? Anyone else got a quick question? Anything they want to know about? I'll stay here for another couple minutes. If not, what I'm going to do is I'll do my sales pitch at the end. And my sales pitch is just this. Two things, actually. I forgot one thing. I'm going to show you this because I forgot to mention it earlier. If you have a community and or you're selling courses, one of the things that isn't the easiest, and I'm working really hard on doing, is trying to make sure that you find ways to get people engaged in the particular story that you're doing. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm starting, and I just started this week. I've only sent one email out about it, but I'm trying to do a prompt of the week. So if you have, and you have some ideas for a prompt or a different way of prompting, your own way that you've had good results, what I'm asking you to do is just log in. And if you go to the general discussion, basically it's one, so this is the one that the challenge is. So basically what we want to do is write a prompt you could give ChatGPT to help you reflect on a personal or professional experience, uncover topics people may have or want to learn from, and one solid idea to build a course around. So that's kind of the challenge, is if you've got some ideas or a different way of prompting these ones, let me just make that smaller, just go and show the prompt below. So put the prompt in and let's just go back and see all of the stuff that's there. People have put some prompts in, and then you can go try other people's prompts, see what's happening, see if the one that you have works, see what other people are doing, and just a challenge. So if you haven't already, it would be great. I'd love for you to go and put those in and be able to kind of share prompts. Prompts are a cool thing because they're, for as many people there are as many prompts. And as you well know, doing prompts in one engine may give you completely different results than another engine. And let me actually show you that, because this is kind of here I'm off on a tangent here, but hopefully it's a good one. One of the things that I do is I will frequently ask ChatGPT or one of the tools to create a prompt for me based on what I want as a result. But I put a prompt together and then I run the prompt on the tool that I created the prompt on. Then I'll take the exact same prompt and I will run it on another tool. And then often what I'll do, if I have time and it's worthwhile doing, is I'll take the prompt from one and I'll give it back to the other one and ask it to evaluate or critique the one. And I do it vice versa. And it ends up that you can get some completely different results, with either one showing really good answers, another one showing awful ones. But they basically started on the first prompt. And I'll show you how that kind of works. So here's what I did. Remember I was showing you that one earlier about taking the transcripts and using the transcripts. I remember I had this transcript, and this is what I did in the video. So what I did is I took the transcript, exact same transcript, and I had some prompts that I put together, and I used that prompt, one in ChatGPT, the other one in Claude. So I took this and I had the prompt, I ran it in Claude, and I'll show this to you. This one came out and it had 3 pages. Oh, sorry, this one's Claude. I will show this one after. This is the one from ChatGPT. I had 3 pages that showed up on this, and this was a really, really good prompt, I thought anyway. And it basically did a summarize, and I asked it to summarize, put it in a specific way, but I got 3 things, and that was from a 90-minute transcription. There must have been 8 to 10,000 words in it. I got 3 pages based on the prompt. I took the exact same prompt and the exact same transcript and I brought it to Claude and I got a completely different formatted response that was 100 times better than the one that I got out of ChatGPT. And I even used the one on ChatGPT that was using 4.5, the model that's supposed to be best at languages and marketing material. But this actually went through and did an awesome job based on the transcript that I have. And this was all from the same transcript with the same prompt. So, when I'm talking about prompts, all I'm suggesting is that play them off on each other and just understand that you can use more than one tool. The ones that I use are Gemini from Google, Claude, and I also use ChatGPT. Some people use some like Grok and a couple other ones. whichever ones you're comfortable with. I'm just saying, use a prompt one, use it somewhere else, and just see what the differences in the answers are. You'll usually be surprised as to kind of what's going on now. So there we go. Catch you next time. There we go. One last question. I got no questions left. We'll bring it in for landing here. Understand your site better. It's a little lost in there. Appreciate your share. Yeah, thanks, Debbie. Make sure, if you haven't already, is that I do have on the left-hand side, there is an orientation tour that's there and the map, and these are all free for you to go through. So that's it. That's all. Finished talking for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, trainingsites.io/join. Join the community, get in there and have some fun, and let's start, build, and grow your education business together. Take care. Expect the best.